Chapter 25 to 26. Unknown Planet. The ground for miles around is a mix of ash and dust. The bodies are broken, charred, crushed, ripped apart. It appears as though a natural disaster had come through, leaving not a single life in its wake. The world is burning, an entire civilization left in ruins. A single boy sits in the ashes, sobbing his heart out. No, please not again. He screams, seeing the world in ruins around him. Why do I keep doing this? He screams as the ground around him begins to heat up with the energy his body is pumping out. As the ground begins to crack, he realizes that his anger is again taking hold. He tries to hold back, but it's a lost cause. As his vision fades, he knows that the planet, which was already in ruins, would most likely not be there when he wakes up. Planet Vegeta. I learned after that to stay away from people. Each and every time I would think I may be fully in control, I'd lash out, killing everyone around me. Broly says, staring off into the distance. Jesus Christ. I thought, barely believing what I was being told. Broly has truly suffered for what he was. An uncontrollable monster, ready to break free at the slightest provocation, whose rage would set fire to the world. Quite literally at times. I could feel pity and even fear creeping up behind the gamer's mind. The life he had lived was truly terrible. Why do you think we can help you, Broly? King Vegeta asked. We had long since moved from the landing pads and were deep within the palace. All other scions within the area had been moved elsewhere, so that there would be no potential distractions. As hard as it was to say, Broly was the worst kind of time bomb. The kind with no way to know when it will explode. Broly's eyes snapped back towards Vegeta from where he was lost in thought. I can sense a person's strength from far, far away. I sensed someone nearly like me, and then it quickly went away. Knowing how quickly I grew in strength, I thought that another like me, with that kind of power, would most likely be the strongest on planet Vegeta. Broly explains as his eyes turned towards me. I had thought that maybe you could control them, or that they themselves had control. Am I wrong? He asks. I share a look with Vegeta, before doing my best to explain. The power you sensed belonged to a girl named Sana. She hid her power, and what she was, so that she could attempt to kill King Vegeta, and did succeed in killing the prince. I'm sorry to tell you, Broly, that we could not control her. I say before continuing. However, she didn't want control, and you do. With time, I see no reason that it isn't doable. What do you think, Vegeta? It should be possible. There are other races in the universe that have issues with rage and anger. There must be something out there. Broly, I think it may be best either for us to sedate you, or for you to leave the planet, while we work out a way to help you. It's your choice. Vegeta replies. Broly thinks for a moment before asking, if I stay, will it help find a way to control me easier? I can't say, but it's possible. Vegeta answers. Then I'll stay. Do what needs to be done, please. Broly says. I found myself floating in the sky, watching the stars go by as I float lazily in the wind. The air is nearly frozen, but my own power is more than enough to keep me warm. The stories Broly had shared really hit me hard. There is a difference between evil and good, in my opinion. From the outside, someone seeing Broly in a fit of madness would assume he is evil, uncaring, and murderous. Yet, that couldn't be further from the truth. The man was a walking machine of destruction, yet sought peace. He spent decades alone, simply trying not to kill everyone around him. To hear of his failures seemed to somehow touch me in a way I hadn't felt in a long, long time. With a thought, I disappear with a pop. I reappear on Cammy's lookout, nearly at the edge. Looking around, I don't see anyone out and about. I push my senses out, tracking down Cammy, Elder Murray, and Mr. Popo. I track them down to the lower levels, but don't bother heading that way. Instead, I make my way to the pendulum room. I stand in the center, again thinking that I need to be stronger. The room glows around me before it finally kicks in. There is silence. There is all-encompassing blackness. Welcome to the training room. Please select a level. 1. They have arrived. 2. A broken promise. The rest of the options are still grayed out. I can see that by successfully making it through they have arrived, that I've unlocked the second option. I consider for a moment my last time here, before again tapping on number 1. The world blurs around me, fading in and out before everything pops into focus. Again, far below me, are the familiar powers of Vegeta, Nappa, Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin. With a pop, I disappear, reappearing amongst them. Hi guys! I announce as everyone drops into a fighting stance. What? Gohan says, nearly shaking. Another one. Krillin announces, seeing my tail. Oh, that's right. I didn't have a tail last time. I think. You there, Scion? Vegeta says, pointing at me. I turn more fully towards them, taking in their visage. Seriously though, where did Nappa go in this game? I wonder. Who are you, and where are you from? Vegeta asks. Me. My name is KLL, and I'm from nowhere. The better question to ask is what am I doing here? I reply, smirking. I just know this is going to piss him off. You will answer me. I am the prince of all scions. He yells, clicking on his scouter. It beeps several times, setting on my current power level of 2000. Oomph. You're useless, kid. Barely stronger than Raditz. He scoffs. Are you sure about that? I ask as I slowly start increasing my power level. I turn towards Gohan and them. You three need to leave. I've got this. Viva Vegeta. Nappa exclaims in the background as he hears Vegeta's scouter beep. Krillin whispers to Piccolo and Gohan, staring me down. As one, they ignite their auras, launching into the air. My power level was going up and up, faster and faster the entire time. I turned back towards Vegeta, and I could see that the indicator on his scouter was a barely readable blur as the ground begins to crack around me. I'll say it once, Vegeta. Leave this planet now. You're no match for me. I growl as I crest 100k. Vegeta is practically shaking, a look of fear and loathing on his face. Nappa, who is without his scouter, rushes forward, slamming his giant fist into me. I don't even budge, not even feeling the hit as it connects. The look on his face shifts from anger to fear almost instantly as he backs up. Viva Vegeta, he asks. What do we do? Majin Buu stands before a large crowd of people, the milling masses shaking with terror. His arms are crossed, looking almost bored, as 3 people are brought forward. Sir. These are the 3 strongest of our people, just as you requested. One of the smaller guards announces. Majin Buu stalks forward, walking around the 3 of them, studying them momentarily. The 2 on the left are useless. I'll take him, he says, pointing at the one on the right. The small creatures nod profusely, locking the prisoner up again, and transporting him to Majin Buu's ship. Once the ship has taken off, Majin Buu approaches the condemned man. What do you plan to do to me, you monster? He yells once the gag is removed. Majin Buu says nothing, simply placing his hand on the man's chest. Moments later, his arm liquefies, pouring out like a flood, covering the man, before absorbing back into his body. There is a small pulse of energy, as he is fully absorbed. Cocking his head to the side, he studies the small differences this absorption has brought to him. Traveling the stars, absorbing the strongest fighters of each race I come across, was a fantastic idea. He thinks as he returns to the helm. With but a thought, the ship begins scanning for more life forms. Planet Vegeta. I pop back into existence not too far away from my apartments and begin heading that way. I pause, sensing Bara on the far side of the city, training again. Well, if I can't unlock Super Saiyan 2, I suppose having a way to win would be a good idea. I think, before using instant transmission to jump to his location. Bara is fighting against 3 other Saions, all 3 Super Saions, and is easily outclassing all 3. As strong as I've gotten, I have to say that Bara is still the better fighter, technique-wise. If we were of equal strength, he'd beat the shit out of me easily. I wait out the fight till Bara finished up with them. Hey Bara, I say, dropping down to them. The 2 fighters still conscious salute me, so I dismiss them. Bara finished cleaning up a bit, before coming over to me. Hey KLL, it's been a few weeks, man. Where have you been? He asks. Here and there, trying to prepare for the future, you know? I say, thinking of several options. I know, man. I'm trying to keep up as well. You're still outpacing me, I can tell, though. He says, fitting his scouter back on. What brought you all the way out here? I don't say anything for a while, just staring off into the distance, before I turn back to him. Have you ever heard of an ability called Fusion? Planet Vegeta. So let me get this straight. Bara said, after hearing my explanation. We do a dance at the same time, and somehow that fuses us together for a bit, making a warrior of untold power. I know it sounds stupid, but it does actually work. I can prove it if you simply try it with me. I explain. I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess. What do I do? He asks. I move into the first position, lowering my power level to match his own exactly. He mirrors me on the other side, as we slowly go through the motions. It takes about 15 minutes, but eventually, it seems that we've gotten it down just right. Alright, so as we move, everything needs to be in sync. Breathing, heartbeat, even blinking. Everything needs to be perfect. You ready? I ask. Yep. He replies, getting into position a few feet from me. First position. Fu. Second position. Shaun. Third position. Our fingers tap, perfectly in sync. Our power levels perfectly in sync. Ah! We yell, our movements and voices a fusion motion and noise. Grand Kai's planet. That's ridiculous, North Kai. South Kai exclaimed. Do you not understand what's happening here? Of course I do, you idiot. And I am telling you now, the only ones in my quadrant that would stand a chance against Buu are the Scions. North Kai yelled back. As those 2 bicker in the background, Kibito continues his conversation with the Grand Kai. So what you're saying is that the Supreme Kai is truly worried? Grand Kai asked. Very much, Grand Kai. Unless we can find someone in the mortal realm that can stop the monster Bu, we may lose it entirely. Then it is only a short time before his eyes fall on the Kai realm again. Kibito explains. Well, we'll just have to find out where we stand then. Kais. Grand Kai yelled. Ed, your quadrant hasn't had a champion in nearly 80,000 years. Yes, Grand Kai. King Kai finishes, turning at attention. As the four directional Kais approach, Grand Kai asks of them if they know of anyone in the galaxy that may be of help. I may have someone, Grand Kai. King Kai says, thinking of a lone Scion warrior. Planet Vegeta. Nothing happened at all. What the fuck? I asked, staring at the pop-up. Due to the gamer perk, your body and consciousness is incompatible with fusion. Fuck. I say, shaking my head. Was something supposed to happen? Bara asks. Yeah, something was supposed to happen. Fuck me, apparently the technique doesn't work for me. I explain, sitting in the grass. Bara frowns before asking, why not teach it to other people then? I'm worried about what that kind of power could be used for in the hands of an enemy. Imagine if Sana had been able to fuse with another Scion that hated us. They would have flattened us easily. I say, a slight shudder at the thought. Well, I don't know, man. Bara shrugs. If it may be the only way to keep us safe, we may need to do it, and damn the consequences. His scouter goes off, and I hear a feminine voice come through, but can't hear any details. I've got to run, KLL. Let me know if you need my help with anything. He announces as he launches into the air. If only he could understand just how much help we all need right now. I think before closing my eyes. Base. How much longer, Whis? Beerus asks for what feels like the fourth time. Not too much longer, my lord. I'd say another hour, and we'll be at the planet of the Kais. I'm sure someone there will be able to point us in the direction of this, Super Saiyan God you're looking for. Whis replies, looking over his shoulder. Fine. Wake me when we get there. Beerus replies, curling up. Earth. I find myself standing in the pendulum room again. I don't know why, but it seems that every time I have free time, I can't seem to get it off my mind. It also happens to be the only way for me to gain experience quickly at the moment, and I'm getting really close to level 17. It whirls to life around me, and I quickly select they have arrived. I can sense Vegeta and Nappa down there, harassing Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo. I know that Goku is on his way, and decide that this time, I'll just hang out and watch. The fight is fairly one-sided, with Nappa smacking them around rather easily. There is a blast of light, taking Piccolo with it. Any second, Goku will be here. I wonder. I think, as Goku drops to the ground far below, Nimbus saving Gohan. I drop as well, slamming hard into the ground, causing cracks to form all over. Nappa turns to say something to me, but I quickly formed Palm Blast erases him from existence. Why, you monster? Goku yells at me. He was your friend. I raise an eyebrow at that, before again realizing that the armor and tail kinda place me as a Scion immediately. Goku jumps forward, attempting to punch me in the face, but it's an easy dodge. Again and again, I dodge each attack he throws, replying with body shots and leg kicks that slowly damage him. A hard snap kick to the side launches him away, causing him to skid across the ground. He rolls, hopping to his feet, wiping blood from his mouth. D-Daddy! Gohan yells, running to his side. No, Gohan! Goku yells, turning slightly towards him. You and Krillin need to leave here, right now. I don't know who you are, kid, but you've got a lot of strength. Where did you come from? Vegeta asks, staring at the charred spot Nappa once stood. I was sent away from planet Vegeta as a kid. I overheard Raditz' transmission, and thought I'd come help. I reply, well, kill these fools and let's get a move on. We need to leave for planet Namek ASAP. Vegeta orders. Yes, Prince Vegeta, I reply, raising my hand towards Goku, who is trying to convince Krillin and Gohan to leave. Too late. I yell, releasing the built-up energy. Goku turns, seeing the approaching blast of energy, and shoves Gohan out of the way. The blast engulfs him and Krillin, quickly snuffing out their lives. The explosion covers the area in smoke and dust, the red dirt clinging to the very air. A second blast of energy is launched, this one by Vegeta, into the cloud of dust. The moment it hits its target, the simulation ends. We leave, Nappa. Call for your pod. He orders as he takes out his remote. We stand in silence for several moments, before both Scion space pods slam into the ground nearby. Oh, and Vegeta? I say as they turn to leave. I wouldn't suggest trying to blow the planet up from space. Got it. Neither turns back to me before entering their pods. Moments later, both launch off, heading for space. Time freezes around me as an indicator pops up in front of me. Bing! Training exercise finished. They have arrived. Peaceful resolution, plus 1000 XP. Bonuses. Terrifying presence, plus 1000 XP. Total, plus 2000 XP. Fem. 650 XP till LVL 17. I click it away and find myself back in the training room. The floating options are there again, but something new has been added. Welcome to the training room. Please select a level. 1. They have arrived. 2. A broken promise. What if? 1. There are several blurred out options under the what if sections. There is no further information, so I'll have to look into it later. I reach out, tapping on number 2, as everything blurs around me again. Everything pops back into view, and I quickly get my bearings. The world is dark around me, and the location seems mildly familiar. Wait, is this Namek? When where? I think as I turn on the spot. Oh, that makes sense. I say, spotting Purunga in the distance. Of course, this sets the current simulation as being in the Namek saga. Goku recently got his body back from Jinyu, Gohan and Krillin are wishing Piccolo back to life. Vegeta is about to get pissed and Frieza is on his way. Guru is going to die in. 3, 2, 1. I say, staring at Purunga in the distance. 3TW fuck. I exclaim as Purunga disappears. I launch into the air, heading in that direction, moving at a good pace. I can sense Frieza heading this way as well. Piccolo just popped up on the other side of the planet. Kakarot is healing nicely, and Vegeta is filled with rage and terror. As I drop from the sky, Frieza makes his appearance below as well. I've kept my power level nice and low, all stealthy-like, so that I needn't worry too much about being sensed out. It's weird knowing almost all of them can sense me, while the science of my own time is still reliant on scouters. Frieza is freaking out and bitching up a storm over there, and I'm already tired of listening in on the asshole that took my eye. I start stalking forward, my power level jumping up to 10M with barely a thought. The ground around me shakes lightly, as Vegeta nearly drops to his knees under the weight of my power. Gohan and Krillin launched themselves into the air the moment I made my appearance, obviously expecting I was a potential enemy. The look on their faces as they get a real sense of the amount of power I have is immensely satisfying. Hey Frieza! I yell as I push my power level even higher. What's this, Vegeta? Another friend of yours come to die. Frieza laughs. No. I whisper as I slide my hand through his back, out his chest, like a hot knife through butter. Blood pours from his mouth as I pull my hand back out, doing even more damage. He stumbles forward, turning slightly, unbelieving that I moved so fast that he didn't even see he drops to his knees. I reach forward, grabbing the back of his neck, pulling him back up slightly. Goodbye, Frieza. I tell him as I yank, ripping his head from his body. The world freezes around me as an alert pops up. Bing! Training exercise finished. A broken promise. Frieza defeated, 1400 XP. Frieza defeated in his first form, 600 XP. Bonuses. Terrifying presence plus 1000 XP. Total, plus 3000 XP. 5-2. 650 XP till LVL-17. That was so cathartic. I taking asshole deserved that for sure. I'm going to have to run through that exercise a few more times when I get the chance. Come now, child. Surely you didn't expect this would be easy? The tall, green, alien-looking creature says, laughing at me. I've pumped out every bit of my power, currently sitting at a 4x Super Kaioken, pushed all the way to Super Saiyan 3rd grade, and it wasn't even fucking close. The cell had a power level of nearly 30 billion, and he wasn't even sweating. Every dirty trick, every sneak attack, even pushing my body to nearly suicidal levels of power increases, and I couldn't even touch him. The fact was that I was simply outclassed. What is it, Scion? Are you giving up? Cell asks as he begins walking towards me. I thought you'd be at least a small challenge. I guess we're both disappointed. I drop the Forced Ascension and Super Kaioken, reverting to base level Super Saiyan. I'm still gasping, my heart pumping at what feels like a mile a second. I look up just in time to see the blast of energy engulf me. Bing! Training exercise failed. Perfection. 21. 450 XP till LVL-17. I jerk as my vision clears, and I find myself back in the training room. Jesus, I knew I'd be outclassed, but to basically be played with? Talk about a quick way to deflate my ego. I say out loud, gazing at the current list of available exercises. Welcome to the training room. Please select a level. 1. They have arrived. 2. A broken promise. 3. Note to the past. 4. A chance for a future. 5. Family catharsis. 8. Ginger snap. 7. Island of the damned. 8. Perfection. What if? 1. I still hadn't managed to unlock any of the what if exercises, but I had made my way through several of the normal ones. After killing Frieza in a broken promise, I went on to kill him again in Note to the Past, easily taking care of Cold and Frieza with the help of Trunks. A chance for a future had me in Trunks' timeline, helping him and Gohan against the androids. It seems to me, from my own experience, that had Trunks been able to ascend to Super Saiyan, they would have defeated the androids. As it were, Gohan and I struggled, but managed it in the end. Family catharsis had me arriving in South City, preparing for the arrival of androids 19 and 20. It quickly led to us facing off against 17 and 18, which due to some trickery, some absolute fuckery, and using instant transmission to carry Trunks and Vegeta into better attack locations and save them from potential damage, we won that one too. It cost Trunks a leg, but a victory is a victory. The final three were all related to Cell. Fighting against Cell in Gingertown, before he had a chance to absorb thousands of people, was actually really easy. Teaming with Piccolo, Tien, and 16 and 18. Defeating him after the absorption of 17 was rough but doable. But fuck fighting his perfect form again. That shit was humbling. Goku and Gohan had their work cut out for them. I thought as I closed the training room. The pendulum room slides back into focus, and I noticed that it's actually daytime now. I wonder for a moment how the time spent in the room compares to the outside world, before quickly discarding the thought. I make my way out, before launching into the air. I take the time to fly around the planet completely, only taking 3 hours, to give everything a good long think. I need to train, I need to unlock Super Saiyan 2. I need to wish back in Divaya, and those that died while I fought Sana. I think as I see Kami's lookout on the horizon. I know the Dragon Balls won't be usable for several more months, but I can't help but wish that I could do more. Either way, it's time to really push. Bu is most likely reborn, and I can't even beat Cell. This needs to change, and it needs to change now. Far, far away, but not so long ago. Bing. Training exercise finished. They have arrived. Played the villain plus 1000 XP. Kill Goku plus 600 XP. Kill Krillin plus 300 XP. Kill Nappa plus 400 XP. Bonuses. What if? Plus 2000 XP. Total. Plus 3300 XP. 17. 150 XP till LVL 17. As soon as I swipe it away, I'm back in the training room and am met with a pleasant surprise. Welcome to the training room. Please select a level. 1. They have arrived. 2. A broken promise. 3. Note to the past. 4. A chance for a future. 5. Family catharsis. 8. Ginger snap. 7. Island of the damned. 8. Perfection. What if? 1. What if Goku, Krillin, and Gohan died during the Saiyan invasion? I don't even hesitate before tapping on the unlocked "What if?" mode. The room spins before everything comes back into focus. Again, I find myself on Namek, having just stepped out from a space pod. A second pod is opening a few dozen feet away, with Vegeta exiting as well. Let's go, kid. The scouter says there are several energy sources about 2 miles that way. Vegeta orders, pointing west. Probably a village of sorts. Someone there can lead us to the Dragon Balls. I nod, following him into the air. My own scouter is binging repeatedly. Each time it receives a transmission from Frisia's army. It seems that Vegeta's isn't programmed with their codes, as his isn't getting anything here. Mine, however, having been issued during a time when Frisia wasn't terrified of Science, and seems to be fully functional. I wonder if he knows his doesn't work correctly? I wonder. I follow along behind Vegeta, as he massacres several villages, gathering Dragon Balls as we go. I don't step in, but neither do I help. I've killed plenty before, but the Nameks have a special place in my heart. We end up fighting against Dodoria and Zarbon, to snag 2 more. I make quick work of Dodora, but Vegeta is nearly killed by Zarbon. The lack of a Zenkai from Earth's battle, which I completely forgot about, is hampering him quite a bit. Once he's unconscious, though, I destroy Zarbon and get him into a healing chamber. The hours pass by slowly, which I spend hiding the 5 Dragon Balls we'd gotten in some nearby mountains. Listening in on the radio chatter from Frisia's men is actually pretty funny. Finding Dodoria's bisected body and Zarbon's headless body caused a fantastic panic. I was tracking Frisia's trek across the planet, following along with what I remembered from canon. If the timing was right, he'd be heading towards Guru soon. Should I intervene? I can kill him with absolutely no trouble in his first form, without even powering up. Stopping him from running amok would probably be a good idea. I think as he begins making his way to Guru. I look over at Vegeta, the timer on the tank saying he had at least several more hours before being fully healed. Making my decision, I concentrate and disappear with a pop. I reappear standing just a few feet away from Guru, and can sense Nail flying out to meet Frisia. I consider going out and saving Nail's life, but am stopped by Guru noticing my presence. "Hello, young scion," he says, his voice weak and frail. "Hello, Elder Namekian," I reply. He coughs for a moment, before turning his head slightly to look more at me. "You're an enigma, you've watched, as your friend has killed hundreds of my people. Yet your heart is one of peace," he says, coughing again. "Tainted, yet good, why have you come here?" I don't actually know if any answer I could give would explain it fully. I guess it all boils down to the Dragon Balls. I explain. We both pause for a moment, feeling Nail get struck down. I know that any minute now, Frisia will be heading back in this direction. Guru sighs before saying, "Another of my children dead. Frisia won't live much longer." Once he gets here, I'll be killing him. I tell him, turning towards the entrance to leave. Wait. I can sense that you have nearly limitless potential. A potential you've barely scratched the surface of. Allow me to unlock it, so that you may struggle less against Frisia. He whispers. I approach, shrugging. I doubt that the effect will carry over, as this is a simulation within a simulation, but whatever. Guru places his hand on my head and is silent for a moment. There is a pop, and I feel energy flood my body. Potential unlocked. Plus 10 energy modifier. Holy shit. I think, pulling up my mini character sheet. That bonus pushed my power level as a Super Saiyan to nearly 1B by itself. Pushing to grade 3, with a 4x Super Kaioken, would put me at over 5B. Thank you, Elder. I have to go now, Frisia is here. I tell him. Guru doesn't reply, instead turning towards the entrance as well. The door is ripped open not a second later, Frisia in his first form framed in shadows. He steps in, pausing at the sight of me. His eyes narrow before he addresses me. Odd. I would have sworn that the only Scion left was Vegeta. He says, "Who are you?" I consider replying, but decide that I'd rather not waste my time. With a flick, my aura flashes gold, sending my power level skyrocketing. In a tenth of a second I'm at nearly 400M, and another tenth, my fist is slamming into Frisia's chin, shattering it into microparticles, as he is launched backward out of the door. Another flash, and I'm slamming him into the ground, his broken bloody body sinking nearly 80 feet deep. I raise a single hand, barely pulsing my energy, flash frying everything below me for 500 feet around, at least 200 feet deep. All that remains is a deep crater of steaming, molten rock. I drop my transformation, using instant transmission to pop back into Guru's home. His eyes are closed, and his breathing is heavy. I say his name several times, but there are no replies coming. I grab the Dragon Ball from atop his throne, popping off to drop it with the 5 we already had. I had to check around a bit, jumping to the highest concentrations of power levels on the planet, before I found Frisia's ship. A few dead henchmen later, and I had the final Dragon Ball. I left it with the other 6 and began the wait for Vegeta to finish healing. I should probably grab one of the children to force them to make wishes for us. I think selling down near the machine. 2 hours later, Vegeta is fully healed, and we're standing out in the open with the Dragon Balls splayed out in front of us. We're going to need a Namekian to make the wish for us, Prince Vegeta. The Dragon Balls use their language. I explain. Vegeta looks at me out of the corner of his eye, before motioning me off. I fly to the west about 4 miles, before spotting a relatively intact village. I can sense several low power levels within, some of which are probably children. I drop down, landing outside the village, and begin making my way inside. So, here's the thing. I've killed the monster that has been killing your people. Mostly. I'm also aware of the fact that your Dragon Balls grant 3 wishes. My partner, however, is not aware. I say as I enter the center. Let's make a deal, shall we? I wait several minutes before a few of the more brave Namekians begin making their way out of their homes. Seeing that they didn't immediately get killed, more and more come out. Your elder is dying, I say, causing them all to gasp. When I last saw him, he was practically comatose. He seems the type to never use the Dragon Balls in his own favor, which I kinda get, but it may be your people's last hope. So here is my offer. One of the children comes with me and makes 3 wishes. One for my partner, one for me, and the final one is to restore Guru to his youth. We can't do that. One of the older Namekians yells. Yeah, we've sworn never to use the Dragon Balls for personal gain. A second chimes in. I let them squabble for a bit, before I get tired of it. Raising my power level, the ground around us begins shaking. The ones that can sense my power level begin shaking, as I quickly hit 500k. 1. I wasn't giving you a choice. The wishes will be made, one way or another. I inform them, making it clear that there are to be no more arguments. 2. Think about it for a second. Restoring him to his youth would give you thousands of more years of his wisdom, while also giving you a powerful protector. You obviously need both. 3. Feel free to tell Guru that I forced you to do it. I tell them as I start walking forward. Because I am. 2 minutes later, I find myself standing before the Dragon Balls again. A small Namekian child along with me. Vegeta is standing off to the side, waiting impatiently. What's the holdup? Vegeta snarled. I'm sorry, Prince. We're going over the wording of the wish, so that nothing interferes with your immortality. I reply before turning back to the child. Now listen. He cannot know that it grants 3 wishes. So you'll need to make all 3 wishes at the same time, okay? I whisper to the child. Why yes, I will wish that Vegeta is immortal, that Guru is restored to his youth, and what did you want? He stammers. I had considered this for practically the entire time I was here. Seeing as it was a simulation within a simulation, I highly doubted anything that happened in here with physical repercussions would carry on out of it. I didn't earn Zenkais for the damage I've taken, I didn't earn battle points for defeating strong enemies, and I didn't get XP for the fights either. What I did get, however, is memories and knowledge. I want the knowledge of how to unlock Super Saiyan 2, I told him. What does that mean? He asked. It doesn't matter. Just say it exactly like that, and it'll work out, alright? I explain. The child nods, approaching the Dragon Balls. As he begins speaking to them, I turn to Vegeta. Prince, we should leave as soon as your wish is granted, I say, getting his attention. And why is that? He asks. Frieza is still on the planet somewhere. Even with you being immortal, we still don't have the strength to defeat him. It will take time for us to gain the strength needed to defeat him. I explain. Vegeta thinks over my words and begins to reply when the Dragon Balls begin flashing and glowing. They practically explode in front of us, Purunga rising high into the sky. The Namekian child begins speaking, quickly, my subtitles showing that he is following the wishes as he should. Your wishes are granted. Purunga rumbles, his eyes glowing red. Moments later, the Dragon Balls have risen into the sky, launching away at breakneck speed. Multiple images flash through my mind, knowledge pouring into my head like a waterfall. I sense the change come over Guru, as his body is restored to that of a young Namekian. His power level jumps to nearly 200k as he wakes from his coma. I remain stock still, as the world pauses around me, graying out. The world around me fades, till nothing but black remains. There is a flash in the darkness, and the world is back in focus. A slideshow of images passes by, showing Vegeta and I leaving the planet. Another set shows Guru killing Frieza's remaining henchmen, and helping to heal many of the injured. Another set shows Vegeta and I traveling through space, but the destination is unknown. Another flash and the training room begins to slip back into view. Bing! Training exercise finished. What if Goku, Krillin, and Gohan died during the Saiyan invasion? Played the villain plus 1000 XP. Kill Frieza plus 1000 XP. Make wishes plus 500 XP. Bonuses. Potential unlocked plus 10 energy modifier. What if? Plus 2000 XP. Total. Plus 4500 XP. 12. 650 XP till LVL 17. I push the notification aside, as I exit immediately, the pendulum room barely forming around me before I'm disappearing in an instant transmission. I pop back into existence several thousand light years away, on a planet I once used to try and gain control of my golden Oozaru form. The ground is charred, smashed, giant craters the size of cities, the landscape. You see, I had finally gotten the information I wanted. It seemed easy in retrospect, and I couldn't understand how I had missed it for so long. I had been pushing myself for years, trying to unlock Super Saiyan 2, knowing that it's the first step towards beating some of the strongest foes in the universe. I push slightly, my hair sparking to golden, as my power level quickly shoots up to over 1 billion. Just as I would normally do to push my body into grade 2 or grade 3, I start decompressing my internal energy. My body starts to pulse, my muscles threatening to bulge outwards like a steroid rage-infested monster. I pull back, shoving the energy outward, not inward, as the ground around me cracks in all directions. The golden energy sparks in the air, as I begin screaming, as the energy I'm producing floods into the air around me. I flick the gamer's mind off, letting the emotions roll over me again. My muscles pulse again, as the air begins to spark around me. The energy I'm pumping nearly hot enough to light the air itself on fire. As the ground breaks apart in a giant circle around me, large chunks of rock rising into the sky, my head flies back as I manage to shove every bit of excess power from my body. Every single bit of energy produced by my body during the decompression was pushed out, swirling around me in the air. My body is practically a generator, the air around me sparking with bioelectricity. My hair, normally thick, long spikes, has thinned out, spikier, more jagged. My muscles have grown slightly, and I feel as though I weigh absolutely nothing. Every breath I huff out feels as though it is filled with the very energy I released. Limits released. Super Saiyan LVL 2 unlocked. Plus 10 permanent energy modifier. It seemed easy in the end, because it actually was. It wasn't a transformation, inasmuch as it was an extension of what I already knew how to do. Decompressing my energy, but not using it to increase my strength. Instead of pushing it outward into the world around me, I entered into what I could only describe as a perfect form of synchronicity. It seemed that using the energy to increase your strength actually burned more of it than you actually gained. It was imperfect. I think as I pushed my power level to the highest it could possibly go, the sparks of bioelectricity zap and crack around me as I look down at myself. Even without effort, the world around me seems to be another level of slow motion than ever before. I stand there, feeling absolutely no strain to hold the transformation, even though I know I'm burning energy. I wait, expecting at any minute to lose the transformation since it was the first time, but it never comes. With a slight grunt, I release it myself, the loss of energy like a bath of cold water. I fall to my knees, breathing heavily, as though I just ran several marathons back to back. I pull up my character sheet and break out into a wide grin at what I see. I did it, I say as I stand back up. There is a soft pop of displaced air, as I disappear with instant transmission.